Oh, it's an action-packed day today. There's so much going on. Welcome to another episode of the Interesting Times podcast, where I cover all of the news from UFO sightings today to orbs flying over New York to World War III basically have already started. I'm going to be covering everything that's going on, and this is the place to get all of the news that you might have heard of and not heard of yet. I gather it. I do all the work for you. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's jump right into it. There's just too much to cover on this episode. Reporting from New York City, this is your boy Beck Lover. I don't know where this video is coming from, but it's circulating on social media right now. There have been orbs spotted over New York City. A news helicopter incidentally captured a mysterious orb-like object zooming over the Hudson River. It is unclear whether the orb is a real-world object or a light refraction. Harvard physicist Avi Loeb told the Post this is most likely an optical artifact from the helicopter. An anonymous source at Good Day pinned that the orb is merely a drone that appears to be moving at incredible speed due to the movement of the helicopter. Let's take a look at that video one more time. There's been more and more sightings in recent years, and people really just don't know what to believe anymore when it comes to the UAP phenomenon, formerly known as UFOs. I know we're living in a really interesting time. I don't know if that video proves it's an orb. I mean, I don't know. It's just funny how always these videos are blurry or, I don't know. In today's world, with all the cameras we have, and you can zoom in from outer space onto an ant, and we can't seem to get just like clear footage, like crystal clear. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think these are aliens or man-made objects? What do you think? Drop a comment below. Now, I've done some work on many podcasts where I get into the whole alien versus demons, interdimensional creatures that God created that are parallel to this dimension. I'm probably going to do a few specials on that. So make sure you check out all the other content on this channel, because I don't just give you the news. I cover very interesting topics, wide range discussions, spiritual, religious. I have interviews with some of the most famous people in the world. Make sure you explore my YouTube channel, Rumble or Spotify, and you can listen to this anywhere podcasts are received. We are 10 seconds to midnight. Terminology used for nuclear war. Things have really progressed in the last 24 hours. Reuters reports Putin says Ukraine war is going global. President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that the Ukraine war was escalating towards a global conflict after the United States and Britain allowed Ukraine to hit Russia with their weapons and warned the West that Moscow could strike back. Russia, Putin said, had responded to the use of the U.S. and British missiles by firing a new kind of hypersonic medium-range ballistic missile at a Ukrainian military facility. More could follow, Putin warned. He said civilians would be warned ahead of the further strikes with such weapons. People like Alex Jones believe he's speaking in code, that if I give a warning, it's basically going to be a tactical nuke. It's basically going to just level something. And the videos of these missile attacks are basically to show the West that Russia can get past their missile defense, capabilities. I mean, it just seems things are really starting to get out of control. I hope you're enjoying it. Twitter is trending talking about the subject.
But there could be some sort of nuclear strike.
I haven't said that. I didn't say that, but we have many options how to respond and what it will be done, and careful assessment, and then perhaps a response. I'm not sure what will be the decision.
But perhaps
we might get nuked before Christmas. Putin touts Russia's new missile and delivers a menacing warning to NATO. The new ballistic missile fired by Russia struck a military-industrial facility in the central Ukrainian city of Dnipro. But its real mission was delivering a deadly new message to NATO. Hours after Thursday's strike touched off a debate over whether the Ukrainian plant was hit by an intercontinental ballistic missile, President Vladimir Putin made a rare and surprise appearance on Russian television to clear up the mystery. He described it as a new intermediate range ballistic missile that raced to its target at 10 times the speed of sound. We have entered a new era of warfare, my friends, the hypersonic age. Modern air defense systems that exist in the world and anti-missile defenses created by the Americans in Europe can't intercept such missiles. But rather than me tell you, let's look at this video of the Associated Press where Putin says the very thing. In response to the use of American and British long weapons on November 21st of this year, the Russian armed forces, a combined strike on one of the facilities of the Ukrainian defense industry. One of the newest Russian medium-range missile systems was tested in compact conditions. In this case, with a ballistic missile and a non-nuclear hypersonic warhead, meaning I could easily switch it out for a nuke as the warhead. I want you to understand what you're listening to, folks. We consider ourselves entitled to use our weapons against military facilities of those countries that allow their weapons to be used against our facilities, tit for tat. And in the event of an escalation of aggressive actions, we will respond decisively and reciprocally. We will return fire, man. I recommend that we take a peaceful solution, hatching plans to use their military contingents against Russia. Seriously, think about this. Things are really starting to spiral out of control. I know that there was talks on X, if I could pull this up real quick. They were trying to show videos of that Ukrainian strike. Let's see if it pops up here. Let's see if we have any videos here. I think they were trying to say that, it was a very weird looking video. I think this is it right here. So what we're seeing here is the aftermath. It's just raining down. Massive explosions. Actually, this is breaking news. Massive. This is not even in Ukraine. This is in Russia. Massive explosions rock Krasnodar, Russia, following Ukrainian strikes. Putin warned prior this could escalate far beyond Ukraine, raising fears of broader conflict. By authorizing missile strikes deep inside Russia in his last 2 months, Biden is trying to tie Trump's hands on Ukraine. But this decision is so reckless that it may have the opposite effect. It proves Trump was 100% right to warn about the risk of World War III throughout his campaign. That's right, folks. Forget the strikes last night. We're getting in, that they're shooting into Russia again right now, okay? Things are really, really, really seriously getting out of control. Horrific footage from Odessa. Russia delivered a missile strike on residential area in Odessa because when Russia kills Ukrainians and stays unpunished on a daily basis, it's totally fine with the ex-hypocrites when Ukraine tries to fight back and save itself. Well, Ukraine should fight itself without American weapons and dragging us into this battle. We don't want to send our sons and daughters to die for you. We don't. And we don't want to get blown up by a fucking nuke either. What is this here? Massive Russian strikes hitting Ukraine, seen from the Romanian shore. Here's some more footage from last night. And I guess tonight. This is old. That's from July 25th. What the hell am I doing today, guys? I'm off here. In any event, research it. You'll see all the crazy stuff. Now, speaking of crazy stuff, now I've seen these cans, and actually I bought a can of this water the other day. I bought a can of Liquid Death, and I just don't like the sound of it, the title, the imagery of a skull, something that was designed by God to keep us alive, right, to bring life. Water is life, not death. It's the opposite of that, actually. But then I found this video on Liquid Death's YouTube channel, and I'm really going to tell you that I will never drink this water ever again. You cannot believe in God and drink this water. Let's look at this quick 1-minute video. For many of you that I've dealt with offline, you've sent me messages to help you. You've been dealing with spiritual sickness, anxiety, stress that not even doctors have been able to help you with, even your psychologist. A lot of you have performed the prayers that I have given you to charge water. You can sing God's words into the water and in essence make holy water and then spiritually perform baptism or hoodoo, as the Muslims say, and cleanse yourself from demonic attack. I think what's going on here with liquid death is actually they're charging the water in an evil way. There's been many studies done on water retaining the energy that is made over it, or the intention, like when they play music into water. I'm not making this up. Please go research it. But this is very fishy stuff. So I want to push play and let's look at liquid death on their own YouTube channel.
Have you ever heard of a real witch summoning demons and trapping them inside cans of water? Inside this very warehouse sits the entire inventory of liquid death mountain water. Each can is about to be infused with real demons by a real witch.
Now, let's say it's a joke and they're just having fun in games. They may actually invite that type of energy into the water. I don't find this to be funny at all. Someone that believes in God, believes that demons are real, black magic's real, witchcraft is real, the evil eye is real, as many of you who follow my work also believe. I will never, I only bought one can ever in my life. I know Danny Jones uses the water, but me, I'm done. I don't care how much money they throw at me. I don't appreciate this type of rhetoric, and I'm going to protect myself spiritually, and I'm just not going to take the chance. Let's continue watching.
A lot of what I practice can be considered traditional witchcraft.
What you're about to witness is very real, very dangerous, and in my opinion, a terrible idea.
We enter into the dark half of the year. Now is the time of the dead. I ask you, spirits, those who are listening, I invite you here. I offer this water as a vessel for you to come into this world.
There you go. Basically inviting the demonic realm, inviting the jinn into the water that people are going to drink. You have a witch doing a ritual, chanting to those spirits that can hear, and we know the jinn can go everywhere on this earth, inviting them into the water as a source, meaning people who drink it are opening themselves up without them even knowing. This is not funny. Even if it was all a joke, there could be real repercussions spiritually. I highly recommend you don't drink liquid death. That is my humble opinion. Let's continue.
When the cans are opened, you are released. I welcome you. Now is the time of the dead.
Demon-infused liquid death. If you drink it, will you become possessed?
I don't find it to be funny at all. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. Well, Gaetz was riding high last week and now he's out. Who will Trump pick next for Attorney General after Gaetz withdrawal? Former Rep. Matt Gaetz announced his sudden withdrawal as Trump's AG nominee on Thursday. Matt Gaetz, the former Florida representative and President-elect Donald Trump's nominee for Attorney General, announced Thursday that he is withdrawing as Trump's pick for the top prosecutor. Who is in consideration for now? The next stop? No one really knows. Some people on the back channels believe Trump threw Gaetz out there as chum to see who's loyal to him in his administration. It was a way to draw out the traitors, I guess. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey was tapped by Missouri Governor Mike Parson in 2022 to be the state's top prosecutor. After then, State Attorney General Eric Schmidt was elected to the U.S. Senate. Bailey, an Army veteran, received his undergraduate and law degrees from the University of Missouri. He then proceeded to work in the State Attorney General's office and also served as an assistant county prosecutor and a state government lawyer before joining the office of Governor Mike Parson. Okay, not a good day for Gaetz. And not a good day for Palestinians. Israel's attack on Gaza kills at least 88, including children in their sleep. This is reported by Al Jazeera. Air raids on Beit Lahia in Gaza City come as a humanitarian crisis worsens in the besieged territory.
We begin the program with breaking news from Gaza. At least 66 Palestinians have been killed in a series of late-night Israeli airstrikes on Beit.
At least 66 people were killed in the attack early on Thursday that hit a residential neighborhood in Gaza's besieged north. A very large number of casualties has arrived, and there are still many bodies hanging on the walls, ceilings. It's mostly children and women. I mean, what are you doing, Israel? What are you doing? What are you doing? Because the International Criminal Court issues arrest warrants for Netanyahu, Gallant over Gaza war. The Prime Minister slams it as anti-Semitism, because everything's anti-Semitism. Just blowing up women and children. That's not anti-Semitic, though. Blowing up women and children, do it all day. In a bombshell ruling, all three judges allege crimes against humanity, making Netanyahu an ex-defense chief internationally wanted suspects. Okay, this is breaking news, and it is trending on X. In a massive legal bombshell, the International Criminal Court on Thursday issued arrest warrants. The decision marked the first time the ICC has ever issued arrest warrants against leaders of a democratic country. Both Netanyahu and Gallant will be liable for arrest if they travel to any of the more than 120 countries that are a party to the ICC. The court also issued a warrant for Hamas military chief Mohammed Daif, who Israel says was killed by IDF strike in Gaza in July. Khan had sought arrest warrants for Daif and slain Hamas leaders Ismail Haniyeh and Yahya Sinwar for the terror group's October 7, 2023 massacre. Israel and the U.S. are not party to the court, and the warrant has no enforcement mechanism, with the ICC instead relying on cooperation from its member states. ICC member countries are required to act on the court's arrest warrants, but have not always done so. Well, in any event, it does put more and more pressure on this sick human being, in my opinion. I will never hate anyone, and I will never hold the actions of a government against its people. I didn't do it against all Serbians, that their government killed my family. I don't think all Serbs are evil. I don't think all Jews are evil. I know not all Muslims are evil. And I believe that the ICC, by making this decision, proves that the world has not lost its mind. And I commend them. And it actually gives Israel maybe a way out to end this conflict right away, hand these guys over, and repair what you have done to your image to the entire world. I don't think anyone will ever forget this. Like you said, never forget the Holocaust. I don't think anyone's ever going to forget how many women and children lost their lives these last year. Israel strikes kill 47 people in eastern Lebanon. Let's not forget, Lebanon's still being bombed daily. They've lost a lot of people also. Seems like between the UK, Ukraine and Russia, the Middle East, literally half the world is in conflict. The rest is in chaos anyway because their countries are overrun. At least there's one normal human being in the Senate, Bernie Sanders, who's also Jewish. That's why you can't group all people in one basket and just hate anybody. He is a Jew who wanted to block the arms sale to Israel. And for that, I respect him. This war is no longer, oh, we just want to get our hostages. Clearly, we are wiping everyone out. We're not going to let them return. This is their own statements. I am not giving my opinion here. This is what they have said publicly on their own newspapers. So,
from a legal perspective, these resolutions are not complicated. They're cut and dry. The United States government is currently in violation of the law, and every member of the U.S. Senate who believes in the rule of law should vote for these resolutions. The Foreign Assistance Act and the Arms Export Control Act are very clear. The United States cannot provide weaponry to countries that violate internationally recognized human rights or block U.S. humanitarian aid. According to the United Nations, much of the international community and every humanitarian organization on the ground in Gaza, Israel is clearly in violation of these laws. Under these circumstances, it is illegal for the U.S. government to provide them with more offensive weaponry. Joint resolutions of disapproval are Congress's tool to enforce those laws. As I have said many times, Israel clearly had a right to respond to the horrific Hamas terrorist attacks on October 7th, which killed some 1,200 innocent people and took 250 hostages. I don't think anybody in the U.S. Senate disagrees with that. But Prime Minister Netanyahu's extremist government has not simply waged war against Hamas. It has waged all-out war against the Palestinian people. Within Gaza's population of just 2.2 million inhabitants, more than 43,000 have been killed and more than 103,000 injured, 60% of whom are women, children, and elderly people. Clearly, what is happening in Gaza today is unspeakable.
I mean, this is why I say there's good and bad in every community of every race. And I don't care, man, if you're of Jewish descent and you think it's okay that 60% women and children are being wiped out. I mean, how can you justify it, man? And then you'll say, oh, blame Hamas. But Hamas is not the one doing it right now. You guys are. You get my point, man? You've lost so much credibility. You've lost respect from people that love you guys or always supported you. You've turned most of the world against you. But it's not going to end. There's no backing down. I promise you this thing's going to keep going on. U.S. regulators are seeking to break up Google, forcing Chrome sale as part of monopoly punishment. U.S. regulators want a federal judge to break up Google to prevent the company from continuing to squash competition through its dominant search engine after a court found it had maintained an abusive monopoly over the past decade. The proposed breakup, floated in a 23-page document filed late Wednesday by the U.S. Department of Justice, calls for sweeping punishments that would include a sale of Google's industry-leading Chrome web browser and impose restrictions to prevent Android from favoring its own search engine. A sale of Chrome will permanently stop Google's control of this critical search access point and allow rival search engines the ability to access the browser that for many users is a gateway to the internet. So, hey Google, I support you, man. Do what you got to do. I love you. Don't hurt me on this channel. I'm just delivering the news. You know, make me go viral. Push me up in the algorithms. I don't want them to break you up. I don't think they have the right to break you up. I support you, Google. I don't want you, I don't want them to break up your monopoly. Just push me up in the ratings a little bit, Lift this little shadow type feeling, Okay? Cool. Next story. Police report reveals assault allegations against Hegseth, Trump's pick for defense secretary. I just don't like this guy's face, man. I don't care what anyone says. Trump, I just, when when your instincts just tell you, Besides the fact he supports everything that's happening in the Middle East, like he's just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing a great job. That to me, if you can keep supporting what's going on over there, you're not a human being. This is not about liking or hating anyone. It's about stopping bloodshed, women and children and people from starving. Millions of people. This guy, I don't know, man. I just don't like his face, bro. I really don't. I got bad vibes about this guy, and it's not his tattoo. I mean, just look at his face, man. I don't know, man. I don't trust this guy. What do you think? Drop a comment. Wonder if he makes it past confirmation. Democrats will push for the release of Gaetz' report despite withdrawal from AG running. While I welcome the news that Matt Gaetz is withdrawing from consideration for Attorney General, it remains important that the Gaetz report be made available to the American people. So they want to air his shit out. You better be careful when you run for office. Who will Trump pick next for the Attorney General? I don't know. Let's see. Someone that has another lucky chance at life, Jussie Smollett, conviction overturned by Illinois Supreme Court. This piece of shit, who was fueling the fans of hatred with lies, when the country was divided because of the whole George Floyd thing. I mean, I'm sad he's getting out of jail, but I hope he learned his lesson. I hope it's God telling him, did you learn your lesson? Yeah. Did you learn not to lie, especially when you can make people really hate each other and divide a country? Like, this piece of shit gets another chance. This piece of shit actor, okay? To this day, I find it amazing that people become famous for pretending to be other people. And you guys fall in love with their characters, but that's not even them. They're playing someone. I've met very few that I've actually loved in real life. You know, at least I'm famous for being me, I guess. That's kind of cool. Thanks to all of you. I don't have to pretend or, you know, act or do anything silly. I get to sit up here, talk this bullshit. You guys are with me. You girls are with me. I love you. Thank you that I don't have to pretend to make a living. I can talk about the politicians who pretend to give a shit about us instead. A kayaker, now talk about pretending. A kayaker faked his own death and fled overseas. Now he's telling how he did it. A Wisconsin man who faked his own drowning this summer so he could abandon his wife and 3 children has been communicating with authorities daily from Eastern Europe and even telling them how he did it. Ryan Borgwardt has been talking with authorities since November 11th after disappearing for 3 months. The sheriff showed a video that Borgwardt sent the sheriff's office that day. The great news is we know that he is alive and well. The bad news is we don't know where Ryan exactly is, and he has not yet decided to return home. I'm safe and secure, no problem, Borgwardt said. I hope this works. He was just going to try and make things better in his mind, and this was the way it was going to be. After leaving the lake, he rode an electric bike about 70 miles through the night to Madison, the sheriff said. From there, he took a bus to Detroit, then boarded a bus to Canada and got on a plane there, the sheriff said. Police were still verifying Borgwardt's description of what happened. The sheriff suggested Borgwardt could be charged with obstructing the investigation into his disappearance, but so far no counts have been filed. He thought this plan was going to pan out, but it didn't go that way. He had planned, the sheriff said, and so now we're trying to give him a different plan to come back. The sheriff said authorities keep pulling at his heartstrings. Yeah, pull at his heartstrings and come back in handcuffs. You know, Borgwardt's disappearance was first investigated as a possible drowning after he went kayaking on Green Lake about 100 miles northwest of Milwaukee, but subsequent clues, including that he obtained a new passport 3 months before he disappeared, led investigators to speculate that he faked his own death to meet up with a woman he had been communicating with in Uzbekistan, a former Soviet republic in Central Asia. Regardless of what this guy decides to do, you are a piece of shit to fake your own death. Your wife and your children think you died. You wasted, you know, resources to search for you. You put through everyone through that stress because you weren't man enough just to ask for a divorce, basically is what it sounds like. You are the epitome of a loser, man. If you see this video, I hope you never come back to the U.S. And I hope if you do, I hope they throw you in jail. You fucking loser. You pathetic excuse of a man. You bitch. Mexican cartel leader is another guy that faked his own death, but didn't work out so well for him. Mexican cartel leader who faked his own death has been arrested in California, Justice Department says. A high-ranking member of the Mexican drug cartel who allegedly faked his own death and has been living in California under a fake name is now facing federal charges. Christian Fernando Gutierrez Ochoa, a member of the Cartel de Yacilico Nueva Generación. Can we take it easy with these long-ass names, bro? Seriously, Latinos, what's up with that shit? And the son-in-law of the cartel's leader, El Mencho, was on the run from the Mexican authorities when he fled to the U.S., assumed a fake identity, and had moved into a luxury riverside apartment when he was arrested earlier this month. The 37-year-old Gutierrez Ochoa is charged with international drug trafficking and money laundering. Prosecutors say that he went into hiding, personally orchestrated transportation and distribution of 40,000 kilos of methamphetamine and 2,000 kilos of coke from Mexico to the U.S. He's also allegedly kidnapped 2 members of the Mexican Navy as a part of an attempt to release his mother-in-law. El Mencho then allegedly helped Gutierrez Ochoa to fake his death to evade Mexican law enforcement by telling his associates that he had killed Gutierrez Ochoa, lying. The scheme allowed Gutierrez Ochoa to run to California and be with El Mencho's daughter. Well, he is now behind bars. The FBI arrested a man who's been charged with planning an attack on the New York Stock Exchange. Florida man was arrested Wednesday and charged with a plot to reboot the U.S. government by planting a bomb on the New York Stock Exchange this week and detonating it with a remote-controlled device. I mean, dude, we are living in crazy fucking times. Harun Abdul Malik Yenner, clearly a Muslim fucking terrorist. Hey, I told you, I gotta be fair, right? Fucking guy wanted to be a terrorist. Was charged with attempt to use an explosive device to damage or destroy a building used in interstate commerce. The FBI began investigating Yenner in February based on a tip that he was storing bomb-making schematics in a storage unit. They found bomb-making sketches, many watches with timers, electronic circuit boards, and other electronics that could be used for building explosive devices, according to the FBI. He also searched online for things related to bomb making since 2017. Yenner also told undercover FBI agents that he wanted to detonate the bomb the week before Thanksgiving, that the stock exchange in Lower Manhattan would be a popular site to target. The stock exchange, we want to hit it because it will wake people up. Yenner, who was described as unhoused, wanted to bomb the stock exchange in order to reboot the U.S. government, explained that it would be like a small nuke went off, killing everyone inside the building, according to court documents. In the last month, he had rewired two-way radios so that he could use as a remote triggers for an explosive device and planned to wear a disguise when planting the explosives, according to court documents. Yenner had his first court appearance Wednesday afternoon and will be detained while he awaits trial. He was known to post videos on YouTube channel about making explosives and fireworks from household items and had a history of making threats, according to court documents. He was fired last year from a restaurant in Coconut Creek after his former supervisor said he threatened to go Parkland shooter in the place. This guy's clearly mentally fucking deranged. Mentally ill. I'm surprised they didn't use the headline Muslim terrorist. I'm surprised. I mean, you guys had a layup on that one. You've done it for less. You had a layup to call this guy a Muslim terrorist. Why didn't you, media? You've been doing it for 25 years. Mentally ill is what the fuck he is. January 6th defendant. He's not the only one trying to conspire. A January 6th defendant is convicted of conspiring to kill FBI agents investigating Capitol attack. A Tennessee man found guilty of assaulting a police officer during the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack was convicted in a separate case on Wednesday for conspiring to murder FBI agents involved in the investigation into his role in the assault on the Capitol. Edward Kelly, 35, was found guilty in U.S. District Court in Tennessee of conspiracy to murder federal employees, solicitation of violent crimes, and threatening a federal official, the department said in a press release. He created a kill list targeting 37 agents. This guy was definitely an insurrectionist. Can't debate against that one, Republicans. This guy really was. Dozens killed and injured in shooting attacks in Pakistan's northwest. 38 people, including 6 women and several children, have been killed in attacks on passenger vehicles in northwestern Pakistan. The attacks follow months of tensions in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, where clashes between Sunni and Shiite Muslims have become increasingly deadly. And again, I've said this on my lectures. You've had in history Christians kill, Catholics and Protestants kill each other. You have Sunni and Shia who have had tension for centuries and have killed each other. And in my opinion, neither are following their religion. So, why the latest bird flu case has experts worried about a potential pandemic? They're already getting ready again, folks. 2 weeks, just 2 weeks till we get rid of this bird flu. Can you hear it now? Coming in the air? I can hear it coming in the air tonight. Bird flu. I can hear them telling 2 wakes to flatten the curve again. Do you think there'll be another lockdown? If I was a betting man, I would say yes, even if it's not bird flu. It's coming again. For you, for you. I pulled up something on TMZ, but fuck that. Don't even feel like reading it. Not in the mood. Let's check out Elon Musk X before we bring down this episode of the Interesting Times podcast with Beck Lover. Elon Musk posting earlier today, about 4 hours ago, leaders have a duty to keep their citizens safe and prosecute dangerous criminals, not protect them. A reminder that DA Bragg downgraded 60% of felony cases last year, including violent crimes. This is from the End Wokeness Twitter page. Look at the way these fucking migrants come out. Look at them. Just look at them. Committing horrific crimes. Look at them.
South Precinct on West 35th Street this morning. Police say at about 2 a.m. Sunday, he robbed a 38-year-old woman in the hallway of her Hell's Kitchen apartment building. He allegedly grabbed her purse, cell phone, and bank cards, and also performed a lewd act. The victim is a Manhattan assistant DA. She was not injured.
This is great. She's a Manhattan DA. You've been supporting these policies that allow these people to come here illegally, commit crimes, and get out with no bail. Oh my God, there's a God. Oh my God, there's karma. Oh my God, that's what he meant in this post. That the DA, her assistant, got robbed and attacked by an illegal immigrant with 5 arrests since 2020. The guy's been arrested 5 fucking times. 5 times. They keep releasing him. And now they get a taste of their own medicine. You deserve it. I hope more and more happens to you. And by the way, we paid for their hotel rooms. And now they have a toll in New York City because of these policies. These backwards policies that have destroyed New York City's social fabric. I hope it happens to all of them that supported it. I hope these people that you have allowed to come here illegally, I hope they do to you what so many innocent Americans have suffered from and lost their lives because of the policies and backwards rules and regulations that you put in place and demoralize the police, not only of New York, but across the nation. May God give it to you the way so many innocent people have suffered because of your games, playing with Americans' lives, their society. You deserve everything that happened to you.
Police traced her stolen cell phone to a hotel on West 45th Street, which led them to believe the suspect is a migrant, and they were able to track him down. Somoza was arrested just last night. Police say he was using drugs on the street and had stolen items with him. Police believe he is part of Tren de Aragua. That's the Venezuelan gang that has preyed on people in Times Square and Central Park. Somoza is facing a number of counts, including sexually motivated.
I wonder if they're going to let him out right away. Now that it's one of their own, are you going to let him out after 24 hours? Are you going to let him out? The way you let people out that were being attacked by baseball bats a couple years ago, I covered that story. I bet you he doesn't get out this time. Why? Because it affected them. They take care of themselves. They protect themselves. When it's you, fellow New Yorker, they don't care. They let them out the next day. Okay? Crazy. Absolutely insane crazy. In any event, we live in an interesting world. Hopefully, we don't wake up to nuclear flashes. I want to thank you for watching this episode. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Drop a comment because it helps a lot. Pick a fight with someone in my comments. Go back and forth. It helps the engagement. I respond a lot of the time. And make sure you stay tuned here. Stay tuned here with your boy Beck Lover. And I'll keep you in the know on Interesting Times indeed, my friends.
Beck Lover.